Okay, good to go. Now I'd like to call the regular board meeting to order. Meeting called at 6 o'clock. Roll call. Jim Anderson. Present. Dr. Feldman.
Here.
Lori Hickey.
Here.
Jennifer Moff.
Present.
Carmelita Smith.
Here.
Cindy Sutter.
Here.
And Dan Sutter. Here. Thank you. All right, we have in memoriam. We extend our sincere condolences to the families of the following people who have passed away since our last meeting. Ronald W. Swihart, age 56, passed away Sunday, May 29th. He previously attended Start DD workshop program and received services from the SSA in Maryland. Teresa K. Large, age 67, passed away Monday, May 23rd. She was in Special Olympics and received services from the SSA in Maryland. Michael L. Bartlow, age 72, passed away Tuesday, May 17th. He previously attended Start DD workshop program and received services from the SSA department. Mary Ann Ellis, age 60, passed away on Wednesday, May 11th. She received services from the SSA department. And Amelia Geraldine Elizabeth Pierce, age 11, passed away May 29th. She received services from our SSA department. Let's take a moment of silence to honor their lives and past. Okay, thank you. All right, I now need a motion to approve minutes for regular board meeting held May 24th.
Anderson motion.
Thank you. Second.
Seconds.
Any additions, revisions, or corrections? If none, all in favor of the board meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. No abstentions. Minutes are approved. We can move to recognition of retirees. We have one employee who retiring from their 42 years of service to Start DD. And Connie will share a few words of this amazing service.
Good evening, everyone. Rebecca Hopas unfortunately did not be with us this evening. So she did write some comments about Marie Tree. So Marie, why don't you come forward? And she asked me if I would share those comments with you this evening. It's such a privilege to recognize and celebrate Marie Train. With over 42 years of service with the board, Marie is our most senior employee. She has an incredible amount of experience and knowledge, and it'll certainly be a challenge to replace Marie. Her commitment to the students at Southgate showed in her daily care and patience with each of them. Marie made every effort to develop positive relationships with our children. Without a doubt, she is the favorite of many. Marie has often been the person that could inspire our students to work together, to work harder and make good choices, and experience new opportunities. She has had such a marked positive influence on both our staff and our students. In the classroom, Marie gave much more than 100%. She rarely missed a day of work and was often the first employee to arrive in the morning. And she took initiative to do more than her fair share in her daily duties. I know that I speak on behalf of Rebecca and really all of us at the board in wishing Marie the very happiest of retirement and the best of luck and good health. And we will certainly miss her smiling face.
Thank you. It's been an interesting 42 years. My sister retired here with 40 years. And my brother was the manager at CJ. He opened and closed it. So he said this tonight. But it's been wonderful. Thank you. I loved it every moment of it. It was a hard decision, but I'm just going to enjoy life, my second chapter. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Lisa, you want us to move the podium? Do you want to move the podium? You got a lot of.
Sorry.
It's a beautiful picture. Maria, on behalf of the board. Maria, I just want to say on behalf of the board, I thank you for your dedication and service. Wish you many years of happiness and great health. Okay, at this time, entertain anyone for public speaks. One for public speaks. All right. We'll move on to the president's report. This evening is one of, it came to mind that less than a year, we'll have our levy on the ballot. So, although it's renewal, I think it's key that we remain diligent and continue to talk with our families and friends about Start PD, about the vital services the board provides to people in our community, which I can attest to as a parent. Encouraging people we know to get out and vote will be imperative as everyone continues to navigate these inflationary pressures that we have today. We must emphasize that this levy is a meeting, no new taxes. I think, I like to think that every day there are opportunities to educate people around the county about who we are at Start PD, how we support over 3,600 people, and that we truly are out for good. That concludes the president's report. Move on to superintendent.
Good evening. I hope you all are well. What a gorgeous couple of days we've had. So hope you're enjoying it as well. Well, we're halfway through the year, and we by tradition provide a 6-month update on our annual forward. We have 59 goals, which is about 3 to 6 goals for a department. These goals are very much about improving processes and systems and training so we can be the greatest benefit to the greatest number of people. As can be seen in the board package, efforts show progress on all of our goals. While our goals are important, our public awareness campaign of Health for Good cannot be overstated. The campaign has laid the groundwork in branding for the 2023 levy renewal, which is tantamount given that it is 2/3 of our funding. Our public awareness campaign is a bedrock initiative in our strategic plan as well. Although not a goal, considerable work has been underway to stabilize our workforce with listening sessions, focus groups, stay interviews, and exit interviews. I want to thank Connie Bolton and our Director of Human Resources, and Karen Evans, our Personnel Officer, who has been holding those stay and exit interviews. Also, Connie's efforts to launch our SSA mentoring program for our new SSAs is progressing as planned. The need for training is the resounding messages of the SSA feedback we receive. As far as this month, it has been full of activities. The Special Olympics track and field statewide event was held in the Ohio State University this past weekend. We had 33 athletes participate, all kinds of golds and silvers and bronzes, and just the effort that is put forward. So just, it's an exciting, tiring weekend, but it was really hot for our folks down there. We are in the final week of a 3-week summer camp being held at Rebecca Stallman Southgate School for 15 students. And it ends this Friday. But I was down there Monday, and I mean, it was like water guns and water fights and sprinklers. I mean, they were having a blast, and it's been like that almost every day. We provided funding and transportation for a week-long summer camp at Gemmelbrook, which had concluded several weeks ago. And we're sponsoring a second week, the first week of August, for some school-aged children. We host a major self-advocates event the third Thursday of every month, and June was no different. It was held here, and again, I want to thank Lisa Paramore and a host of SSAs that helped make that come true. We hosted a community American Red Cross blood drive here at Littledale. We had 49 participants, generated 40 pints of blood. So we were very, very excited about that. We had community members in, and literally so many staff chipped in as well. We hosted a trio of early intervention and play groups at different parks throughout the county. We held our monthly provider meeting today, and the topic was individual service plan and outcomes training, which also complements our accreditation plan correction. So we had providers and SSAs giving the same message. This Thursday, we have a job fair. I don't know if you saw the signs as you come in. It was just like, please come work for us. We have jobs, follow-alongs, bus drivers, riders, teachers, maintenance, custodial, and SSA positions available. Presently, we have 6 open teacher positions at Southgate, which is more than 35% of our classrooms going into the fall year. We have 3 vacant SSA positions, and again, we're looking to hire all kind of substitute positions. So we're really hoping for a good result on Thursday. Looking to July, we have a float in the Canton Community Parade being held for good, and partnering with our self-advocates who will end up be sitting on the float or walking alongside, and we'll have Stark County Board of Developmental Disabilities held for good. And we also have banners that say a moment of support to last a lifetime. So very excited about that. We love floats, we love parades, and we expect a really good turnout from our people. So yeah, it's something new we haven't done probably for 20 years. We wanted to return to that. It's a great way to be out in public. So very excited about that. And we are halfway, you're at the halfway point of the year, and it's certainly not been an easy one. With the workforce crisis, inflation, or accreditation, we as an agency must be grounded on what is most important. Of course, our mission is supporting choices and creating opportunities for people with developmental disabilities and their families. We're carrying this out by our value of choice, that people have the right to choose how they'll live their lives, where they'll live, and with whom. With our value of dignity and respect that focuses on the significance and value of every person and that they're unique. We are grounded in the value of accountability. We believe in conducting ourselves in a manner where we are responsible and answerable to the people we support, their families, and the community at large. We value stewardship. We are responsible for planning and the management of resources entrusted to us in order to connect as many people with the services they need. And finally, we are grounded in the value of integrity. We choose to be honest, trustworthy, and ethical in all that we do. Keeping our mission and values central and always people supported first. We know we can continue to weather the challenges of this year. And that concludes superintendent. Any questions? Yes, Carmelita.
Who's designing the float? How are you doing?
Yeah, so We would typically be building the float, but we have collaborated with a organization called Creative Floats. And so we're working up with them on the design and the signage. So, yeah, we kind of, we'll be working in tandem with that. But that's what they do. They build floats. So we'll be working hand in hand with them. What do you want to sit on the float?
I don't mind. I will do anything to support.
Okay. Yeah. What day is it? It's July 24th. It's a Sunday. Okay. That's right. So, but if you're on the float, you have to, there we go. You gotta-
So good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our committee and department reports are in our work packets. Are there any deletions? Any deletions need to be made this time? If not, moving on, we do not have any old business or new business this evening, but we do have a presentation tonight on the Family Support Services Program, which will be presented by SSA Supervisor and Cross.
Yes. Actually, it's going to be Paula Kovac.
Okay.
The assistant director.
Okay, Assistant Director Paula Cole.
1 second, Paula. There you go.
Awesome.
Yep.
You may have to turn, is it on?
Turn the clicker on, yeah. On the side.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm here to talk to you about our program, Family Support Services. For short, we call it FSS, real fast. But it's Family Support Services, and it's a program that supports individuals and families in the family home. START-PD annually provides funding for this program, and the program runs on a fiscal year, which is July 1st through June 30th of every year. So we're ramping up and gearing up, and we've been kind of getting ready for it since about mid-May, because I know that our families look forward to receiving their coupons in July so that they can start to do some fun things. So, some of the examples of possible supports and how families use these funds. Some families use their funds for getting special equipment or modifications in their homes. Some examples: sensory items, communication devices, adaptive car seats and strollers. Some families use their monies for special dietary items like specialized formula or thickeners that might be needed, or incontinence supplies. Some families use their funds for recreation, like dance classes or sports bag riding classes, or camps or swimming lessons. A lot of camps, so summer is certainly a time where these funds can come in handy. Some folks use their funds for counseling, training, and education therapy services that might be available in the community. And then probably one of the other leading things that families use the money for is respite care, for taking a little break sometimes. Excuse me. So just to kind of talk a little bit about who can apply for Family Support Services funds. It's for individuals who are county board eligible and they live in the same home as their family. Individuals who have no other funding streams, so they aren't enrolled on any type of waiver, whether that be level 1, IO, or self. And it's not really available to families who have adopted children and are getting an adoption subsidy as well. And then it's also available for families who have a household income less than $79,762. All right, so a family, when they apply and they're kind of determined, that they're eligible, we kind of have a way that we determine the amount that families receive. So the maximum annual allocation per individual, eligible individual, is prorated throughout the year based on the date of application and co-payment amount. And so this just kind of gives you an idea of the maximum allocation per quarter for the year. So first quarter beginning in July is $750 that a family is the maximum amount a family or the individual can receive. And then October 1st for that quarter is $570. The quarter beginning January 1st is $380, and the quarter beginning April 1st is $180. So based upon when the family or the individual is applying for it, that's, how we kind of allocate those funds. So the process is the individual is determined eligible by Stark County Board of DD Services and requests the FSS application. The family receives the application, it completes it, and submits it back to the FSS department, which is kind of a department that's embedded in our intake department. The FSS department then receives the application, reviews it, and processes it as appropriate based on our guidelines. The families then receive fund allocation via a mailing of coupons that we send out. So it's like $10 incremental coupons, along with a vendor list and some direction with regards to how to work the program, and then an idea of who in the community is saying that they will accept our coupons for goods and services, and then the direct form of payment. Then the vendor will provide the service and submit the coupons to our COG, or Council of Government Neon, and they kind of act as the fiscal agent in making sure that the vendors get paid for the services that were rendered. A family can also, if they want to purchase something that maybe isn't on a vendor list, they can go ahead and purchase it outright and then submit that receipt or invoice to Neon as well with the information that is needed so that they can be reimbursed with the coupons. When FSS funds are exhausted, families applying for the FSS program when there is no money available will be placed on an FSS waiting list based on the date and time of request. In the event that an emergent need arises, the individual or family can let FSS and the FSS department, and if they have a service and support administrator, that service and support administrator know. And we'll review that situation and determine if we need to act on whatever is felt to be needed, because we want to always be making sure that we're looking at safety in those situations. We typically do end up with a little bit of a waiting list, and then we work with Bill and the finance department to determine whether we can add to our funds to be able to serve more people. So just trying to give you an idea of the last 5 years, of the number of people that we have served through our Family Support Services program and the amount of money that we're spending annually. So I won't read through all of the amounts, but you can see, the last 5 years, we're really serving, between 421 to close to 500 people on an annual basis. So we're touching lots of people with this program, and I know that it's very meaningful to the families who receive the support. So there's lots of good stories and neat little things that happen. I know that when I was working with it, directly, I would have parents call me and just thank me from the bottoms of their heart for the small amount that means such a great deal to families. Just to kind of give you a sense of where we're at today with the 2022, 2023 program, I believe our initial allocation was in the amount of about $212,000 to start with. And I just looked to see where we're at. Again, it's not even July 1st yet. We have allocated to 286 persons, and we have $15,000 on the budget. So that's where we're at. So it'll be a couple weeks soon. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
Is there an age limit for?
There isn't. I mean, I would say that typically, as we have folks that are getting older and like starting to receive like adult services, a lot of times we're looking to enroll folks on waivers. But we do have a few folks that are not, and so they're still able to get FSS dollars to help support them throughout the year as well. Yes.
For the services that don't have a vendor,
Mhm.
do they have to have prior approval before they make that expenditure?
They don't. I mean, so, I think we kind of like sometimes think about, this is really a program that's about helping the family with the supports that they need or they feel that they need, and so for the most part, families can make really good decisions about that. It's $750. So, what a family feels is going to help them in that time. We don't scrutinize too much. If Neon thinks that there's something that's maybe a little bit out of bounds, and they have pretty good sense of what that is, they'll give us a call and help work through it with us to kind of see. But, some people need clothes and some people need things, so we try not to micromanage that too much because the families kind of know what they need. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Good. Thank you, Paul. Okay. This time we'll have a review of policies as slated for first reading. Connie will present the policies.
Policy 2.30, records retention, was reviewed with no changes recommended. Policy 3.02, dangerous weapons and firearms, was revised. We added language to this policy in response to House Bill 99 that was recently signed by the governor that does permit school employees to carry a gun if they are authorized to do so. We added the sentence that no school employee will be authorized to carry any firearm while on school grounds per this policy and in accordance with the board's governing body. Also, policy 4.02, retire, rehire. This policy was revised to add definitive details as to why a retiree may be rehired. This would include items such as the retiree has specialized knowledge or they're needed to manage a function for a set period of time. Perhaps it's to address hard to recruit positions or if there's an insufficient applicant pool due to workforce crisis. Also, language was added that defines the period of time the retiree will be rehired for, which can be from 3 months to 1 year. Any extension beyond 1 year is at the sole discretion of the superintendent. And lastly, language has been added that establishes that a retiree that is rehired does not receive prior service credit for prior service, is not eligible for any payouts of free sick time, and all benefit eligibility guidelines will be followed. Policy 4.41, compensatory time, was reviewed with no changes recommended. Policy 4.57, Salary administration was reviewed with no changes recommended. And policy 4.61, summary of benefits and coverage, was also reviewed with no changes recommended.
Okay, thank you, John. Now we'll move to resolutions. We've got 10 this evening, so let's move through those, starting with resolution 062722 for board expenditures for May. Need a motion?
Pavel Langros.
A second?
80 seconds.
Okay, we got discussion.
Thank you. Good evening. During the month of May, we had total local revenues of 1.95 million, total state revenue of 234,000, and total federal of 63,000, giving us total revenue for the month of May of 2.25 million. We had two payrolls during the month of 1.13 million, total benefits paid of 665,000, total other expenses of about $5 million. We did have a waiver match and administrative fee payment in there as well for about $4.5 million. Giving us total expenses for the month of May of 6.8 million. Our expenses exceeded our revenues by about 4.5 million. Looking at the bottom, beginning the year with our cash balance of 60.7 million, we had canceled 348,000 in 2021 purchase orders. We still have about 21,000 remaining on those purchase orders. 2022 open purchase orders of 7.8 million and a positive net change in position of 6.4 million gives us unencumbered cash of 59.6 million. Of course, reducing our reserve balance of 10 million, giving us a total unencumbered cash of 49.6 million. Looking at our budget versus actual statement, our year-to-date revenue is 28.16 million, which is about 57.3% of what we expect to receive for this year so far. Total expenses of 21.8 million, which is 38.96% of what we expect to spend. Our target as of the month of May is 41.67%, so we're running a little below for our target. Our available budget at the end of May totaled 26.27 million, mostly made up of personnel and unencumbered waiver match budget. Our prior year outstanding encumbrances at the end of May, what we carried over from 2021 of 766,000. We have paid year to date 397,000. We have canceled 348,000, so we still have about that 21,000 that is still open at the end of May. Now looking at resolution 062722, you can see the two payrolls that we have here. And then the week by week breakdown of non-payroll expenses, you can see where the week where the waiver match was paid. If there are no questions, requesting approval for resolution 62722.
Okay, all in favor of the resolution, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. No abstentions, financials for May are approved. Moving to resolution 062822, approves 2022 computer refresh. I need a motion.
Vicky moves.
Second.
Pavel seconds.
Thank you. Discussion from Brandon.
Good evening. The IT department is seeking approval to purchase our 2022 computer refresh. Cost not to exceed $129,000. The refresh will include 16 laptops, docks, monitors, all accessories to go with those. They'll be used to replace computers that fall out of our data and provide us with extra bring in during the course of the year. Keeping the computers up to date allows staff to be proficient, allows us to provide more efficient support. That cost falls under the $140,000 we have budgeted for our 2022 budget for computer. Any questions?
What do we do if they go?
Some of the old ones get repurposed for lab computers in areas where we have like training labs, things like that set up. And anything that basically when it's done, when we're done with them, they're pretty beat up at that point, so they end up going county auction. So we're required to send everything on to the county auction. Whenever it gets retired, we pull some hard drives out of them, and those get destroyed for different reasons and privacy reasons. And then shall appear with the line started. Any other questions?
Do these include devices for the school or is this,
There may be a couple at the school level, but we just did a big refresh on them. They're not due yet. So we try to roll over roughly about 25% of our computers every year. So this is right around what that number is.
well, this one is for the staff.
Yeah, mostly like SSAs and things like that. So pretty much all laptops. We had a bigger desktop refresh last year than what we had this year. So. Any other questions?
No further questions, and all in favor of the resolution, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. No abstentions. Resolution is approved. Thank you. Resolution 062922, approve amendments to the table of organization. Need a motion
Anderson motion.
and a second?
Carly Smith, second.
Thank you. We got discussion.
Resolution 062922 is to request the creation of 5 SSA positions and 1 SSA supervisory position. The addition of the 5 SSA positions are needed to ensure adequate staffing as ongoing turnover occurs. Taking this action to hire additional SSAs will prevent the need for current SSAs to receive extra caseload assignments as we're recruiting for the vacancies that we have. Also, it will eliminate the need for supervisors to take on caseloads in addition to their supervisory responsibilities. The SSA supervisor, who provides supervision and evaluates SSAs as it relates to individual service plans, is also assigned supervisory units. The addition of 1 SSA supervisor will readjust the number of SSAs overseen by each supervisor, as well as ensure that SSAs are receiving the needed amount of supports from their supervisor. The expense associated with the 5 SSA positions and the supervisor position will be added to the 2022 budget. Once the positions are approved, they'll be assigned a position control number and will be placed on the table of organization. Any questions?
Is that 5 in addition to the 3 that are still open?
Yes, yes, it is.
Is there, wages comparable with other agencies?
We're very competitive when it comes to our starting rate, and very honestly, we have a strong pool of SSA applicants that we're interviewing and working through.
Any further questions? No further questions? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? None. Resolution is approved. Resolution 063022 approves a provider financial assistance program for non-medical transportation providers. I need a motion
Powell Light moves.
and a second.
Anderson second.
Thank you. We have discussion from that, please.
Thank you. Given the significant rise in fuel costs and other maintenance to vehicles, the board will provide financial assistance to non-medical transportation providers as permitted and lawful by the Ohio Revised Code and the Ohio Administrative Code. The NMT provider is required to submit a grant application, and financial awards will be tiered based upon the number of people that they do provide services to. The assistance award can be used to pay for vehicle maintenance, vehicle loans, equipment insurance, training, and other expenses not covered by the Medicaid rate. It's important to note that the board is prohibited from supplementing the Medicaid rate by paying any type of hourly wages or other costs related to the direct support professional or for a provider who's performing NMT. And any NMT provider shall execute a contract with the board, and reimbursement requires appropriate documentation and receipts. The cost of this proposal is to not exceed $80,000. Any questions?
No questions? Further questions? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, say nay. No abstentions. Resolution is approved. Moving to resolution 063122, approves professional services contract with Stark County Family Council. Need a motion?
Probably Smith motion.
In a second.
Moss second.
Thank you. No discussion and vote.
The Stark County Family Council is a partnership of government agencies and community organizations committed to improving the well-being of children and families. It has been established by the Ohio Revised Code, and the Stark County Board of Developmental Disabilities is a mandated member. We have been a funder of Family Council since its beginning. And we are partnered with the Mental Health and Addiction Recovery Board, Family Court, and the Educational Service Center. So we are requesting approval for you to enter into the administrative agreement at the rate of $37,000. $10,000 supports the Family Council operation, and $27,000 is funding for what is called wraparound services, which is direct support to families.
Any questions about the resolution? With none, all in favor of the resolution, say aye. Opposed, say.
I need to abstain.
Okay, no nay, abstention. Okay. With that, resolution is approved. Now we have resolution 063222, approves a lease with Plain Local Schools. Any motion?
Iggy moves.
A second?
Anderson second.
Discussion from me?
Thank you, David, again. So this is to enter into a lease agreement with Plain Local Schools for the time period of August 1st, 2022 through July 31st of 2023 at a cost not to exceed $30,000. So the lease covers a school-age classroom at Avondale Elementary, one preschool classroom at Taft, and it covers the food service, information technology, administrative support, custodial, and utilities. This collaboration is a partnership between the Stark County Educational Service Center, Plain Local, and the Board of DD to ensure integration during parts of a student's day. Since we initiated the embedded classroom, we have returned 20 students back to their home school district. During this past school year, 5 children returned to their respective district. This lease is always paid with our IDEA grant funds that we receive from the state. If there are no questions, requesting approval of resolution 63222.
Any questions? With none, all in favor of the resolution, say aye. Say nay. No abstentions?
Moss abstains.
Thank you. The resolution is approved. Okay, now we have resolution 063322, approves a 3-year labor agreement with the separate union. I need a motion.
Yes, a motion.
In a second.
I'll make second.
Thank you. Discussion from Karen.
Resolution 063322 approves and authorizes the signing of a 3-year collective bargaining agreement that was reached between the board and SEPTA bargaining teams on June 9th, 2022. The SEPTA union represents approximately 105 employees. These are employees in our schools, our early intervention department, and also in our RNQA program. The agreement calls for wage adjustments of 4% in year 1, 3% in year 2, and 3% in year 3. The cost of the 3-year agreement is approximately $247,842 in year 1, $163,939 in year 2, and $167,677 in year 3. That total cost is $579,458. Also within the labor agreement, the longevity program is revised to add a 5-year level of service award. And the costs of the longevity program are included in the total cost of this agreement. Are there any questions?
Any questions? No questions? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Or say nay. Any abstentions? With none, resolution is approved. Resolution 06-3422 approved the 2023 preliminary budget. Need a motion?
Formally dismissed.
A second?
Not second.
Thank you. Discussion from the league.
Thank you. So resolution 63422 is for our preliminary 2023 budget. I can tell you there were not a lot of changes going into 2023. We're going to see a lot of the same things that we've seen from 22. We'll see a little bit of increase in our real estate taxes, budgeting our increase in wages, and then of course, how we matched it. Everything else is pretty much status quo at this point. So expecting total local revenues of 39.9 million. Total state revenues of 2.8 million and total federal revenue of 7.3 million. For total revenue for 23, 50.09 million. Down below, our total expenditures of 58.9 million. So our wages, salaries and wages of about 17.1, benefits in at 8.5. And then within the other allocations, the labor match makes about $26 million out of that 28 million. So we're expecting our expenditures to exceed our revenues by 8.9 million. But down looking at the bottom, we're estimating that the unencumbered cash balance at the end of this year through the beginning of next will be about 57 million, and then minus our 10 million in reserve. Estimated unencumbered cash at the end of 23 of 38.3 million. For our other two funds, the capital fund, as well as our Cohen gifts and donations fund, no activity there, but we do have cash balances to sit, 14,383 in our capital fund and 125,449 in our Cohen gifts and donations. If there are no questions, requesting approval for 06-3422.
Any questions? No questions? All in favor of the resolution, say aye. Opposed, say nay. No abstentions. Resolution is approved. We have one more resolution for second reading. That's resolution 06-3522. Approves a capital housing assistance agreement. Need a motion?
Vicky moves.
A second?
Line seconds.
Any discussion?
Thank you. So this is to enter into an agreement with Hope Homes Foundation and the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities for the building of a home using state community capital assistance funds in the amount of up to $278,312. This resolution also authorizes the distribution of the county board funds held at Neon to pay the building costs of up to $278,312 in 5 estimated draws. The first draw of $42,000, the second of $85,050, third of $56,700, the fourth of $42,525, and the fifth draw of $42,525, which will be reimbursed by DODD to us after each draw. Finally, it also approves that the board approves the transfer of those 5 reimbursements once we receive them back from DODD, that we send them back to Neon to recompense the $4 that were expended for that reimbursement of the $278,312. So in accordance with the administrative code, the County Board of DD and a nonprofit housing corporation may access these capital assistance funds from the Department of Developmental Disabilities to purchase property to provide housing for people with disabilities. It provides the equivalent of a loan that is forgiven over a period of 15 years, and they're of course cost neutral to us. After the application is complete, DOD sends the funds to the board, we then pass them through to the nonprofit housing corporation, being Hope Homes. Upon completion of the project, Hope Homes Foundation becomes the landlord and owner of the records, and the board holds the promissory note for the property for the 15-year term. There are no questions. Requesting approval of resolution 06-3522.
Question. How do they identify who, is this a group home setting, individual, family? How do they identify the use of the home?
Yes, so for a not-for-profit housing corporation, they have to purchase it for for people with developmental disabilities, so it'd be a group home. Yeah, yeah, it's not for a family, it is for, group living.
And where's it going to be located at? You know?
It's, the home is, just, north of Canton South.
And do we do this once a year?
It's just based on applications and when state funds are available. So the housing corporations, if they see that there's money available and if there's a housing need, that's when they do it. So we could do, 3 or 4 homes in a year if the money is available, or we could do none. And it is driven by the not-for-profit housing corporation and, our assessment if the housing is needed.
Okay, but it doesn't cost us
No.
anything.
It's all state law.
It's only one home?
It is only one home.
Now, how do we decide who gets the use of the home?
It's a free choice of provider, so, it's, so, we would make the home available and people would choose the provider who would buy the services there. In this case, I think that you have to identify who the people are, up front, and that has been done, and the Midwest is the provider of the home for this home.
One more question. Will people be paying a rent to these, for these homes?
They do, yeah, they do pay rent, and it's affordable rent. It ranges between $300 and $400 a month.
Thank you. Okay, any further questions? With none, all in favor of resolution 63522, say aye. Opposed, say nay. No abstentions, resolution is approved. Now we move on to second reading of board policies presented at the May board meeting.
Policy 2.24, travel and other expense reimbursement, along with policy 4.45, work-related injuries, and policy 4.6, exit interview, were all reviewed with no changes recommended.
Okay, thank you. That brings us to resolution 063623, provides approval for the board policies presented for second reading. Make the motion.
He moves.
No second.
Harmony is the second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the resolution, say aye. Say nay. No abstentions. Board policies are approved. Okay, as a reminder, our next regular board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022, 6 p.m. There's no July meeting. And with that, I now need a motion to adjourn.
Howard Lang moves.
Anderson seconds.
And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Or say nay. No abstentions. We are adjourned at 6:53. And thank you. Enjoy the weather. Yes.
Bill, how are you feeling?
Oh, good, good.